And we are go.
Yep, we're live.
Tonight we are going to be playing Hardwood Spades. This is the cousin to the game that we played 2 weeks ago of Hardwood Hearts, so it probably looks very, very similar to anyone who watched that episode, which probably isn't a whole lot of you, but it's made by the same company. It's another card game. It's got all the same mechanics, except that it's spades instead of hearts. What does that mean? Not a whole lot. I don't know spades nearly as well as I know hearts, but given how well I was playing hearts 2 weeks ago, that's not saying a whole lot. Yep, sorry.
I mean, it was fine. It was fine.
I didn't introduce you. With me again, I have Des. Hi, Des. It was
Hello.
fine. It was fine. That is a glowing recommendation. I played
totally
adequately.
Fine. I forget what we even talked about.
What we talked about doesn't matter anymore. I think at the end we
It's
had
true.
tossed out somebody for anybody who was actually watching, so they could come back and ask us questions, but no one did.
Oh, it was about the My Little Ponies.
Oh, right,
Final
that
Fantasy.
was yes, that was right. Well, we
We
can
were
have
like, we're
Final
gonna-
Fantasy,
we should
Final Fantasy
play
Little
it.
Ponies, and Final Fantasy IX is the best Final Fantasy ever. We can get to those eventually, but we have a whole new slew of topics to talk about tonight. But most importantly, we're going to talk about spades. Talk about spades. So, like Hardwood Hearts, it has the single player, it has the multiplayer. The multiplayer does work online, I think. I haven't tested this yet. I did briefly test this game, so I've already earned the gamer picks that pop automatically, so I'm not going to have those showing up. But I can try and create a match and see if there's anybody out there. Probably not, because this is an old game and not very many people play it to start with. No one's
You
here.
never know, man.
Might randomly get somebody. So, yeah. Uh-oh, I can't go back. Can't go back. I can apparently start the game, though. Okay, well, apparently I can play with the computer online, so cool. So, Spades is different from Hearts in that it's a bidding game versus just playing the cards. And unlike a lot of bidding games that I've played, the trick in Spades is you have to bid exactly your trick total. So there's 13 total tricks for your team, and your team bid counts. Did I hear a clock? Am I on the timer? No, okay, I'm fine.
Something sounded like it was counting down.
Yeah, I was a little concerned there. I was like, what are you going to build? Generally speaking, you want to bid 2 or 3, 4 if you get a really, really good hand. This is a strong hand, but I'm only going to bid 3. So between us, the computer and I think we can win 7 tricks, which is a lot. The computers bid a total, opponents of us have bid a total of 3. So if we get them to take a lot of tricks, it's actually bad for them. We still want to get 7 because we don't want to get set. But if they get 6, they're going to get what are called 3 bags. And if you get to 10 bags, you lose 100 points, which is a lot. So I can start off really strong in diamonds, so I will. Because it's going to run out pretty quick, but I'm going to take those easy tricks now. So there we go, that was 3 nice and easy tricks for us. Thanks, okay, so Wipeout has joined us. That's okay, you didn't. We did not talk about the questions last week. Last week was Path of Exile, this was 2 weeks ago. I don't know if there were any questions to come up from that. We spent a lot of time mostly actually talking about the game there.
That's true, because we had both played it before the stream. I don't know what happened to my voice there.
So I'm trying to count tricks. I probably shouldn't be doing that. I should just take as many as I can, and then if we get bags, we get bags. I'll live with it. So we did not get set. We're in good shape, and now we do have a bag. But they're gonna get set, it looks like. That's even better for us. They only bid 3 and they're gonna get set. Holy crap. Alright, they didn't get set, never mind.
The only problem with this card game is it's not a collectible card game, and I feel like we're a little light on those.
That's okay, because as we discussed, was it last week? We were talking about the Smite has a collectible card game that they're coming out with. And I haven't announced it on stream, but I was accepted into the alpha of that, so I'll have an opportunity to play that coming up really soon. Holy crap, that's a lot of diamonds. Hit 3. Yoink. So he had to trump that, though. Beat that. They're trumping this, so make them trumps. Alright, well, that's an easy one, I guess. We better not get set here, because you can't capture some tricks, buddy. Okay, we did. Good. So, yeah, we were going to talk... We have Smite available for the near future. Plenty of collectible card games on the horizon. Is that Smite card game coming out soon enough to prolong Leapfrog? No. Even Gwent's not coming out that soon. Leapfrog will be over in the next 30 days. I might have to redo my calculations if Smite came out. That would be hilarious, though, because it was Smite that kept updating it last year. This is not nearly as strong a hand. I do have an ace, so I can guarantee I'm going to get at least one, I think, but I'm going to only bid 2 this time. We're about bags. So yeah, no, I think that Leapfrog will be done pretty soon. Obviously, YPod saw my blog today.
I saw it, actually, because I went on True Achievements to look up that thing. And,
right, so you actually earned achievements this week. What's up with that?
Well, I didn't earn an achievement, I earned a trophy, but I sent you the achievement. Because, you know, True Trophies is not...
Like, why were you playing this on the Xbox? Not that it's bad, but you don't normally do that.
But what would be the point of that? Yeah. No, it was... I got the trophy. I sent you the True Achievement link because I'm cool that way. But your blog is what Google will direct me to if I start typing True Achievement. So
where do you go?
Because
apparently true
literally
to my
the
blog.
only thing I do on there is be like, let me see what Andrew's. Oh my god, just like.
How many pages is this blog? Why does it have so many graphs?
Why does it have so many graphs?
Is he using natural logarithms in a blog post? Really? Yes, I really am.
Cool, I guess.
My wife over in the distance says nerd.
Nerd. Did
fair.
she pronounce it the way I spell it in emails? Nerd.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
Oh my
much.
gosh. Stop clicking on Firefox. I keep trying to switch. I'm having trouble with the Xbox app on Windows 10.
That shocks me not at all.
I know, you're so surprised. And I'm having to flip between it and Edge, except that my body, you know, like my muscle memory doesn't go to Edge. It keeps clicking on Firefox. When I'm like, oh, I'm going to the internet now.
What am I doing?
And I just keep opening Firefox windows and being like, where's the stream?
Computer buddy, you better have a really good hand here, because I don't know what you're doing anymore. Oh. You really better have a good hand. We're gonna get set, and it's gonna be your fault. I'm gonna be really sad. I'm Maybe I should have only bid 0.
Just gonna have to walk it off. Just walk it off.
I don't mind losing, but when I lose because it's not my fault and the computer did it to me, that's frustrating. So at least we set them too, and we actually... Nope, we got set more than they did. Screw you, computer. We got set, but because we won the bid, we got set. So, I don't know. Why the hell did it bid that much?
Your computer avatar is kind of douchey. I'm like, why are you playing with this aviator guy wearing a-hole?
Yeah, that
no wonder
might explain
you lost.
everything. Yeah, it's like it's on the ball. Okay.
He's channeling Val Kilmer from Top Gun.
Oh, why'd you waste the ace there?
So, I don't often, I'm not often glad that I left Miami, as you know. But
Right.
watching Hurricane Irma, I'm like, holy shit. I'm glad that I don't live in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since Andrew hit them, but it looks like it's going to be bad again. Although you had Harvey, so...
Yeah,
And we talked
I
about
mean,
that last week.
Irma could still endanger if it turns towards the Gulf. That could really be horrible. But Irma's gonna be bad no matter what, I think.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculously strong hurricane, and so we have ridiculously strong hurricane after ridiculously strong hurricane. It's not a good time to... And now we're back in front? I don't know. Did they get 100? I don't know what's going on anymore. I assume that the game is keeping good score. All I know is that I hit my target. I can take 3, sure. See? Oh! That was my partner's. I didn't need to do that. That was probably that was my douche move. So what we were going to talk about tonight, we have the great Oxenfree debate coming up.
Right, and
Is
also...
that where we want to start?
What did you play this week?
Oh, right, I suppose we should start there. I honestly didn't play a whole lot. It's September, and as you know, September's a really bad time for me. I have a work schedule that is kind of calendar-centric. It's based around the school year. So when the school year gets going, my workload gets going, and September is the worst. So
Yeah, I mean,
work sucks.
I'm about to become really busy, because, of course, my year peaks on Black Friday.
Makes sense.
God, August and September, back when I worked, your job, that sucked.
Yeah, no. We managed to make it through August. August we got okay. September is where it's really bad right now. I have a bunch of spades. I bet you with that many spades I can get 4. So now we need to get 8, though. I should probably have been paying attention to see if my computer had bid before I bid or not. Maybe I could have avoided this. Maybe that's my problem. I bid too high because my computer had already bid so much. I don't know. It's like he can see my hand. His aviator glasses are actually X-ray specs. That would explain everything.
I played Borderlands 2 this week. I've been working on a sniper, a 0 build. I'm on my 2nd playthrough with it. I was just short of starting my 3rd. But I got this random achievement this week, which was for...
That was one of the tough ones.
Yeah, it was for killing a flying enemy with a TDR reload. And when I played the Siren, I avoided TDR guns because my elemental damage got so high that if I threw them and then walked near them, I could kill myself pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I just didn't keep them.
Yeah, there's a tricky achievement to get, especially when you're not using 2D weapons overall. It's not an achievement I have, and it's a pretty high ratio one in terms of its rarity because
what is
the number of flying
on?
enemies. So
I'm getting
so it's 250.
a notification if you can still hear me that my privacy
I can still hear you.
settings prevent me from chatting with you.
I can still
but
hear
I don't know if
you
you can still hear me because my privacy settings prevent me from chatting with you. So
Des, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Apparently Des cannot hear me, though I can still hear her, so great. Okay. Des?
can you hear me now?
I can still hear
okay.
you.
I'm
I've
back.
been able to hear you all along.
Right.
We could hear you.
Oh, right. Well, apparently the notification that I can't chat with you is not affecting my ability to chat with you.
Awesome.
So...
Well, I've started a new game and got rid of the douche. The new douche has been, is that 7?
But he has
7
the triangle.
Who
Sorry.
did 7? That's crazy. I'm gonna get 0. You go ahead and get 7, buddy. I'm gonna make sure we don't get set that badly.
He's really confident in his hand.
Apparently. That's ridiculous. Alright, well, maybe there's an ace out there. You got that one. Okay.
I'm trying to think if I played anything else.
I never actually answered that question. I just told you I was busy so that I wouldn't have had time to play a lot. What I actually did play was a lot of free-to-play. I played Path of Exile. I played Marvel Heroes Omega. That's about it.
I played something else today. Oh, Undertale.
Oh, okay.
Which is...
Oh, and I have been playing Hearthstone. I hope to make Legend this season, and so I've been playing a fair amount of that.
I don't know what that means.
It means playing enough Hearthstone and playing it at a high enough level that you become, categorically in the ranked ladders, one of the best players for the season. And the season's a month, every month. So, we got 171 points on that hand. That worked out pretty well, actually. Maybe we need a bit higher. Not this hand, though. I'll bid 3.
So far, I don't like Undertale. But I also am not very far into it. So I don't think I've given it a fair shake.
Undertale is one of those games where you hear a lot of good things about it, but I'm not at all surprised it would not be as good as it is. It reminds me of that, the Dwarves game. Not like We Are the Dwarves or The Dwarves, those more recent ones. This is a game from like 8 years ago, and it was incredibly popular with the subset of gamers who love really deep strategy games. But it's incredibly complicated, and it has all kinds of weird permadeath rules. So, Undertale seems like a game like that, where it's going to be very, very popular with people who love that game, and completely unappealing to everyone else. Especially remember what the name of that Dwarves game was, otherwise people don't really understand what I'm talking about.
I'm also at this point with the game where...
Hey, I got an achievement.
I'm gonna have to... No, there you
Dwarf Fortress.
We're
Wipod's
gone.
right. Dwarf Fortress. That's the game. Thank you, Wipod. Yeah, Dwarf Fortress was fantastic for that kind of gamer. If you wanted to play Dwarf Fortress, you really liked Dwarf Fortress.
If you play Dwarf Fortress and you like Dwarf Fortress,
you probably like Dwarf Fortress.
Then you like Dwarf Fortress. And I think that's it. I'm not sure. I need to keep better track.
Yeah, I should have actually, I meant to go to my computer and make a list of it, but it was basically, I don't know. I know I played Path of Exile, I know I played Marvel Heroes Omega. Beyond that, I'm actually not sure what I played. Not very much, because I haven't earned a whole lot of achievements lately, and if I'm not earning achievements, it must be Hearthstone.
Oh, I know what I was doing all week. I was like, what the hell have I been doing? Apparently, I'm watching
Recovering
with my sister.
Harvey?
Well, that, but watching all of Supernatural from the beginning.
Wow. That's probably a mistake. It's a lot of seasons.
There's 12, and they're currently filming 13. So yeah, it's a lot.
So, I actually spent some time watching some television this week as well, which is pretty unusual for me. I watched the Castlevania series that you were talking about way back in our first episode when we were playing Astropop. So the Netflix Castlevania? Des?
I am here again.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I'm having a lot of problems.
We're definitely having some problems here tonight.
Microsoft.
Blame it on Microsoft. Totally Microsoft here. So did you hear what I said? I'll repeat myself as needed.
I said there's 13 seasons. That's the last that I know happened.
13. So yeah, there's a lot of Supernatural going on. Then I said that I have also been watching some television in a broad sense of the word. Really, guys, I am so glad I bid low because I got crap apparently.
So
anyway,
you've been watching TV. That's unusual for you.
It's very unusual. So I watched the Netflix series for Castlevania, which was okay.
You did watch that.
Yeah, I got through it all. It took me 2 nights, but
it's not very long.
It's really not that long, but it was disappointing. I was not thrilled with it. We can talk about that a little bit, I guess.
I know we talked about this when it came out because I watched it right away.
That was what it was. We started talking about it right when it came out, which was right before our first show, which was Astropop. So going back a ways there.
Right. And
yeah, take 3.
Basically, the way I see it was, it's like something they put together so that people who had never heard of Castlevania would have the barest idea what was going on, so that they can do a real season and they don't have to do all this backstory bullshit. That's my theory.
It definitely felt like that, but I'm not sure that was something that was necessary. Also, it seemed like they were messing around enough with the lore that it was a little bit off. To me, that doesn't mean much because I'm not a huge player or purveyor of the series. But I was ultimately pretty disappointed in what I did see because it just... Well, let me get back to that. But the thing that I noticed was something I think we talked a little bit about. Graham McTavish is one of the voice actors, and we were surprised by that.
Right.
We commented how he had been working in Preacher. And I think that's actually how he got the in for this one, because the writer for the Castlevania series is Warren Ellis, who is also the writer of Preacher. So he's like, hey, yeah, I got an executive producer here. Come be a voice actor for me in my new show. Yeah, let's go with no. You bid for me. What are you gonna bid?
Well, my theory was they just got people who had been hobbits Because, like, everyone on there had been in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. It's like one of those.
Right, and so it was...
Including Armitage, who's not...
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if
apparently...
he's gone in a ton of stuff.
Apparently I don't know how to do that.
You're literally on fire right now.
my partner is not happy with how I did that. And then I did something, he was not real thrilled with that. So, that was a mistake.
Wait, why does he have a name? Why isn't he Computer 2?
Oh, it's a real person. I'm playing against a person now.
You're playing with a human.
Holy cow, how did this happen?
Now
they're
why the
computer was taking so long to
mad.
bid. Oh, jeez. Sorry, buddy. I don't know how to play this game.
Wow.
Well, I can beat computers, right? That's what I do.
Okay, so you think the lore is a little off?
So, what the lore that sort of bothered me the most with the speakers in general, I don't remember speakers in Castlevania at all. So I don't even know what that means to them, but they're creating a lore for them, and it was fine. But mostly it was just bland characters and trite storylines. It was very, very basic. So what was the best part was the occasional witty bits of dialogue. It's like, oh, here's a section that Warren came in and actually wrote, and it's like, oh, okay, that's good stuff. This is a strong hand, so I think we can take that. Because the first episode, or maybe even the second episode, where they're talking about the bar fight scene, right before the bar fight scene, that was pretty good. And a couple of little bits here and there, which were, very strong writing, surprisingly good. Oh, he left. Well, he left because I sucked. Okay, let's be fair. He comes in, he's like, oh, someone's
so
actually
fast.
playing my favorite game. Oh my god, he doesn't know how to play. I'm rage quitting. What's he doing? He bid nil, and then he immediately takes a trump. I don't know. Clearly, I don't know either. I feel actually really bad about that because I did not realize he was a human being until too late. I would have probably done things differently, but that does explain why he took so long to make any motion. Just run everyone out of trumps here and then see if something that I have holds up. He probably played it for 2 weeks for someone to play the game with, and we ruined it for him. Yeah. I am so sorry, Mr. Guy. It's all my fault. It is all my fault. It's okay. I think we're gonna win anyway. Me and my computer partner.
All right.
If he just stuck around, he would have seen we were okay.
I looked at the Wikia for Castlevania, and it looks like the speakers are only in the Netflix series.
So that makes me feel better. I was right about that. It was new to me, and so I felt that was significant somehow. This is a little rough.
They reminded me of the people from the end of Fahrenheit 54. 451. Fahrenheit 54. 451. When he, well, I don't know, that's a spoiler, but the book is like 70 years old, so.
I don't think you need a spoiler warning for Fahrenheit 451. It's been a while since I've read it, though, so.
When he...
I read it in college. By option. I tested out of all my English requirements, so.
Well, he finally smuggled his book out. And gets it to the, like, I don't know, safe haven or whatever. And they burn books or something because they memorize them instead so that they can't be burned and therefore lost. So everyone's a book.
The knowledge is preserved, right?
Right.
And you memorize the oral history, right?
Right. So you're in charge of Great Expectations, or whatever.
Punt. Take a trump. You're not my partner. Get rid of that.
I don't know why they reminded me of that, but that's maybe because of the whole we keep the stories and preserve the knowledge and don't write anything down.
One of the Belmont fathers had come in and got into a fight with a speaker, and the speakers were like, "How did you get into a fight with a speaker? We practice nonviolence." Well, I tried to write down his stories. You can't do that. You don't write it down. That's probably what it was. I think I'm about to get set.
If you write it down, someone can burn it.
We got set. Wow.
I've seen Fahrenheit 451. I don't know how this ends.
Ugh, not a good hand. Get rid of that. Why are you guys doing that? Apparently.
Okay, so you liked Trevor Belmont?
I didn't particularly care for him. He was an okay character. I thought
but
that
he
the
didn't automatically
wordplay...
upset you?
No, he did not automatically upset me. I thought he was a fair characterization of a Belmont, especially in the situation being described in the storyline there. It was completely appropriate for what it was.
And then everyone else was boring?
The farmers, the random farmers in the bar, that was the best.
Oh, right. They were like having sex with goats or something?
Having sex with goats, and then getting whacked in the face with a shovel, and then the throwback to that bar fight with the final fight with Alucard, where Belmont tries to knee Alucard in the groin. That was also, again, a bit of clever writing. So those are the moments where I'm looking, okay, so this is where Warren stepped in and helped the writers out and said, we need this to be better than this. I have 118 points negative. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I would say the only way from here is up, but you could keep digging the hole. So...
You are falling behind. Do you want to go for a blind mill? Sure. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I think I probably want to make sure I don't take any tricks. So I got a bunch of spades, so that's not great. Because the only way that I succeed with the Jack, Queen, and King of spades is if somehow I manage to dump those off. Like, say, somehow they trump this trumpet. Trumpet, 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 trumpet. Yes! Okay, we're fine. We're fine. We're still good. Still good. Oh, now I take it. We're doomed. We're doomed! Game over.
I downloaded a game called We Are Doomed today.
Well, that's prescient.
Yeah. Okay, so so are you done trashing Castlevania, or do you want to do that some more?
No, I think Castlevania has been sufficiently trashed. I'm not upset how I spent the time, but if I didn't think it might get better, I wouldn't be watching it anymore. That was not enough to entice me. What I saw. So I will not be coming back to it unless I hear really good things about the next season, which, considering I heard really good things about this season, doesn't fill me with a whole lot of confidence. So...
Well, I thought it was
not
fine.
happy.
It took me 2 sittings to watch it because, you know, I have a problem with paying attention, so... I watched it, but I didn't absorb very much, so I had to rewatch parts of it to
you intentionally rewatched it.
Well, I mean,
odd.
rewatch implies that I paid enough attention that you could call the first one watching. But I watched Netflix's Death Note.
Oh, I've heard really bad things about that. Like it's terrible or something.
It's not terrible. It's just, if you're a fan of Death Note, you'll hate it. It's not the same thing as being terrible.
I am actually a fan of Death Note, so I think it's.
Well, you'll probably hate it though.
Progress. Yeah. No, that's definitely enough of, I think, of Netflix in general. I don't watch TV, and this shows why. When I do sit down to watch TV, I'm generally speaking disappointed by even the stuff that people say is good. So what am I going to do with the stuff that isn't good, right? The last TV show that I watched that I enjoyed was probably Preacher. So again, it's based off a book, basically. It's based off a very graphic and visual book. And even the same author couldn't compel me to stick around for his new work. It's like, this doesn't do it.
Are you keeping up with Preacher, or did you give up?
No, I didn't give up, but we stopped watching it after the first season. I haven't seen anything in the second season.
Yeah, so I have renamed Supernatural Sam is a Bag of Dicks. That is what I call the show.
I like Sam better than I like Dean.
Well, you're a psychopath. Because only a psychopath would like Sam better than Dean.
No.
I know, we've discussed this before. It's possible you are a psychopath.
This is true. Oh, we got set. Awful.
But yeah, so what's on our list? Well, we have
good stuff.
The cult, if you want to talk about the cult. We have
we're far enough in. I don't
choice
even
in
know if we
video
need to talk about the cult. Yes, we were definitely going to talk about. That's why I was going with Oxenfree. So Oxenfree is the Games with Gold game for Xbox One for the second half of September, and we're thinking about playing that, possibly off schedule, doing it on a weekend maybe. Do we have more time to do a full one?
Yeah,
I don't know
so
if we're actually going to do that.
Beyond the intro, really get into more of the game.
Right. And I'm fine with that. It just has to be something that's of interest for, or that I actually have to have some time in the weekend to make it happen. I'm definitely interested in playing the game, so that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Right.
A weekend is as good as any other. Yeah, I want that. I'm taking that.
Or we could just do it on Tuesday.
Or we can do it on a Tuesday and just go longer. But then we were planning, I think, the longer we just keep these things coming in, the longer it's going to take me to get through my backlog of these backwards compatible games. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. I'm streaming an hour of the backwards compatible games to make sure I actually play them. If I keep pushing that off, I'm never actually going to play these games. I need to play Spades, don't I?
I mean,
Apparently,
no.
I don't need to play Spades.
Not like you need air.
No, definitely not that.
Really low on the hierarchy of needs.
Maslow says this is not the thing.
Okay, so choice in video games.
Right. So
is that what you want to
choice
do
in video games. Let's go there. Obviously, it's always a lie. Choice is 100% always a lie in a video game, and this comes up because you sent me a fun little article from Reddit, I guess.
Yes, Reddit.
That was showing off the source of all good things on the internet.
Well, sure. Reddit, people who are unfamiliar with Reddit ask me about it, and I'm like, Reddit? The thing about Reddit is, it can be either the best thing or the worst thing. If you carefully curate the subreddits you subscribe to, then anytime you go on it, it's amazing. But if you go on the front page, holy hell. Like, just...
Yeah, it's usually gonna be bad.
So, they had examples of choice from video games, and I'll pull it up. And these are specifically choice-based games. So it's not games that didn't advertise themselves as being choice-based games that are getting kind of raked over the coals or whatever.
That. Well, that one was Saints
Right,
Row. That one's a little bit. That's not a choice.
Saints
game.
Row, it's not really a choice game, and Fallout was on here, and you can make an argument about if that's.
I think Fallout is a choice game. It's an RPG, so it has certainly more choice in it than a lot of these other games would have.
So the first one was Life is Strange, which is totally a choice game.
But at the same point, this is something that I've been dealing with a Life is Strange a lot. So True Achievements had their month-long, we're going to play a game together as a community thing, and Life is Strange was the game last month, which is why I've been doing all these Life is Strange things we've been talking about. I have a blog in the works about Life is Strange, and Life is Strange is a choice-based game, and it does a very good job at lying to you about your choices. The lie is that your choices matter. Your choices never matter. Video game choices almost can't matter simply because they are in a finite world. You can't say, oh, you did that, let me reprogram the game to accommodate you for doing that. You had this nuance on the scale that I didn't realize was available. The choices are always binary. You save Kate or you don't save Kate. And then something happens because of that. And that's probably one of the biggest things in Life is Strange as a choice, and it's still ultimately not a choice because it makes no difference. If the choice doesn't make a difference, it's not actually a choice. You're just playing along with the game, and that's fine. I love that. I love Telltale games. I thought Life is Strange did a pretty good job of obfuscating its failures on that point, more so than Telltale games do. But choice is never a choice.
Did you save Kate?
That was a complicated situation.
Oh my god, you killed her?
Remember we talked about this?
Did we? I don't remember.
We did talk about this, yeah. So the situation with me and Kate was that I did not save her initially, which pissed me off because I had done everything I needed to have done in the game to save her, except I didn't make enough correct dialogue choices with her on the roof, which I felt was particularly offensive because, obviously, yes, those dialogue choices matter a lot. If you're trying to talk somebody down off the roof, you've got to say the right things. But it was offensive to me as a gamer when the choices that they gave you weren't good choices ever. The things that you could say to her weren't the kinds of things anybody up there would have said. Max, being as self-censored as she is a terrible choice to try and go up there and talk her down anyway. And so it all ends up being self-centered. And so I say the things that are the best things for her to say, and the game's like, nah. So she jumps, and I'm like, no, screw this. So I loaded a save and saved her, and then I felt really bad about it. It's like, this isn't how the game is supposed to have been played. They took away your powers for the emotional impact. It had an emotional impact because you're pissed, and now you're backtracking to make it the way you wanted it rather than the way it's supposed to be. So I had guilt for the rest of the game about that, whichever save file I used, that I was not playing it right. So it was disappointing.
Well, the thing with Kate irritated me for a few reasons. One is just, a suicide intervention like that is something that should not be attempted by anyone not trained to do that, but especially not teenagers.
Yeah,
because
she showed why she was really bad at it. Oh, congratulations, Ypod. Ypod went through and managed to save Kate. You're a better person than I am.
I made one incorrect dialogue choice, which I surmise because she took a half step back away from me. And I just assumed if I did enough wrong ones, she would walk all the way off. But
Oh,
you know,
right,
the
it's
part that
sad.
made me the angriest probably in the whole game has got to be the interaction with Kate about going to the cops.
That one was really bad. And then
Um,
there was the whole thing with her, even before that, with Marsden in the first place, of, you know, her getting upset with you for taking the photograph, right?
well,
That whole thing was done so
that was
bad.
a lose-lose situation.
It was.
You know, I mean, the photograph is proof, and that's why I took it. Because you know, adults don't believe kids when they tell them stuff like this. You and I know that. So
Yep.
that's why I took it. And then, you know, I bet if you don't take the photograph, she snaps at you for butting into her business. There's no way that ends positively for Max.
Yeah, it's bad. So, again, ultimately, a lot of things. And this is where ultimately the blog post is going to go. I have a lot of complaints about the game. I did not like the game nearly as much as like everyone else. It's still an interesting game. It doesn't have, you know, horrible things wrong with it, but it's disappointing.
I think there's also
So,
a possibility
but yeah,
that
there's no
our
choice. Sorry, go ahead.
our past experience with you know, trauma,
What we do, what did.
what we did, yeah, colors that game.
We're definitely
in
minority.
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, and I think that's probably something that's going to come out in my blog. This is probably why my blog is as long as it is. That's why the blog hasn't actually been published yet, because I'm like 4,000 words in, and it's not done yet. So, YPod says that the most memorable, impactful choice for him for playing Life is Strange was deciding whether or not to kill Chloe in episode 4, even though that ultimately didn't matter either. That can definitely be an understandable thing. Des and I made the same choice on that, and we both made it fairly easily, but I think that has a lot to do with where we're coming from. Other people coming from different circumstances could definitely have a hard time with that one, and I do explore that one a little bit more in the blog, so I'm not going to talk about that one here, but I've been doing the Life is Strange thing, so it's on my mind. But games having choices, the emotional weight of the choices in Life is Strange is what matters. It's not that the choice matters, it's that the having to choose has an emotional impact on you, the player, and that's what makes it good. It doesn't do that very well for me, because the emotional impact on me is usually frustration and anger, not, oh, I feel sad about having to make this tough choice. So that's my difficulty.
I've made some choices in BioWare games that felt tough to me. Usually it was, do you want this bad thing or this horrible thing? You know, it's like, I don't want either of those. Why am I trapped in this situation? You know, choose between the two evils. I've definitely had some where I've been like, ooh.
This comes back very well to what we were just saying, though, is that a lot of these games have a choice that is being presented to you. And one of the ones, the Life is Strange one, was you have a dialogue choice. And the two dialogue choices are eat shit and die or fuck off. That's your dialogue choice. That's not a choice. What if you want to say something nice for a change? Well, too bad. You're not let to choose. So that's the whole thing about this and that Reddit thread, is that it's the false choices that you sometimes have in these games, and how awful that can be for you as a player when you want to do something different.
And one of the other choices was from Oxenfree, which is why we started talking about it. Your dialogue choices are nada, no, or nope.
So it's, you know, same thing. But at least it's being polite about it, right?
Yeah, varying degrees of politeness.
Games don't give you choice because they can't. But that doesn't mean that the effect, the gameplay of giving you choice is a bad thing to do. I think it's a very good thing to do, and it can enhance a game. So I'm glad when the choices are presented, even if they aren't what we want in the long run. And I had a couple of really good examples of this. frequently praised the choice mechanics of Telltale games, despite their flaws, simply because the emotional weight that the choices have is often very strong, particularly with The Walking Dead Season 1. Some of those choices are memorably hard, and that was very, very well done on their part. I think that one of my favorite video game moments ever was in episode 3 of The Walking Dead first season, and I won't go into that because I do think it's a spoiler, and I've talked about it elsewhere, but it is really, really good. And the other one I mentioned in the email was the fantastic choice that isn't a real choice of Tales from the Borderlands, which is just in the first episode, where you're being told the story by Reese. That's where you're coming in. And Reese is going on about how he meets these other characters, and then all of a sudden the other character says, no, I want to tell the story, how it actually happened. And so you get to, and the very first thing you do is now you're in control of this other character, and you make a choice. Here's what really happened. You don't know what's really happened. All you know is that she has just said that what Reese said isn't how it went down. And you're given 4 options that all look completely insane. I mean, one of them is, it's complicated, but yeah, of course it's complicated. The other 3 options are like, how are they going to do that? How are they going to reconcile these choices so that any one of those things can work? And then they do it, and it's really, really well done. It's not a choice. The same thing happens no matter what, but the reconciliation of that, in that choice, that moment of, wow, this is some good writing, that was worth a lot to me. So it doesn't always have to be, it's so, you know, the choice that isn't actually a choice can be done well for comedic value, as it was in Tales from the Borderlands, because it's comedy, and sometimes it's done for comedic value unintentionally, I think. We also brought up in our email the classic, and you corrected me on this. I say it's, oh, but you must, but apparently that's not the right translation. It's but thou must.
Yeah.
From
but
Dragon
must.
Quest 1.
Yeah.
So the very beginning of Dragon Quest 1, the very beginning, you go in to see the king, and the king says, I need you to save my daughter. And you get to say, yes, of course I'm going to save your daughter. This is an important quest for me to go on. Or you can say no, which is, why did you buy our game?
Yeah.
Why did you buy our game? So of course you're going to say yes. But because they programmed in that you can say no, they had to have an answer for what would happen if you said no. So the answer when you say no is, oh, but you must. Or, you know,
but thou must.
However you want it. But thou must.
Yeah, and it's, and they will repeat that over and over and
as
over
many
again,
times as you
infinitely,
need.
until you say yes. Now, an interesting choice in a game, and I don't know how many people know about it, is in Far Cry 4, where in the beginning he says, just wait there and try the crab rangoon, and I'll be back after I'm done dealing with
yes.
Far Cry
Sorry,
4.
I was thinking, I heard Fallout 4 for some reason. But
I
yeah,
started saying Fallout, and then I shifted gears. And you, of course, are, as the player, kind of compelled by video game rules to get out of there. But if you don't, if you just sit there and try the crab rangoon, he helps you scatter your mom's ashes and then gets you a helicopter ride home. And that's it. That's the whole game. You win, I guess.
It's winning. You know, this terrible person remains in control of the island, but I think that's actually a really, really good thing.
Special.
No, I think that was really great. The programmers did that, and I applaud that Easter egg so much. And it's not even like it's a super long time. You have to wait like 15 minutes, so it's longer than anyone feels comfortable doing, but it's short enough that it's completely reasonable someone could do it, or even do it by accident. They're like, oh, opening credits, I don't want to see these, I'm going to go get a sandwich to come back. What, the game's over? What's going on?
I won? How did I win? Yeah. Far Cry is hard because he sucks. but I mean, everyone sucked. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
Now, Wypod said that your decision in episode 4 doesn't matter. I want to circle back around to that because how you view the time travel in Life is Strange determines whether or not that matters, I think.
That's a fair point,
If
because
you
the splinter universes
believe
matter,
that
don't
she's-
they?
Right. Yeah, if you believe she's creating multiverses, then it matters a great deal to that Chloe and that reality. And I don't think Life is Strange ever made it totally clear which they were doing. I lean towards
Right, I mean, she does have that experience
creating
where she's
multiverse.
meeting her clones from the other multiverses.
Yeah.
Whether that's just a psychotic break or not it's not hard to say.
Right. So I just decided that we were creating multiverses because that actually made the game way more crazy. I mean, think of how many times you kill Chloe if there's multiverses.
I was starting to, how many times did you kill her or fail to save her? I was starting to wonder how many multiverses are you required to make as part of the gameplay? Like, how many times are you required by the gameplay to rewind? If you played it perfectly, you were able to figure out all the answers. You didn't do any of the side quests. You just stick to the main quest. So you have to rewind in the bathroom, and you have to rewind a couple other places, obviously. But what's the minimum number of splinter universes you can get away with in the game? I don't know.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think
there's so many stupid quests where you have to rewind a bunch of times just to get the information you need.
Right, but a lot of those are side quests. You don't realize they're side quests at the time.
Right.
So knowing everything I know now, can I go back through and get through the game on like 5 rewinds? Probably not. Probably requires more than
that. Gosh, I'm just like kind of going over it in my mind, trying to figure it out. I mean, it's
not
pointless,
easy.
but
so many dead Chloes. Yes, Wypod, there are so many dead Chloes.
So many. Yeah, that's the one deciding on killing or on multiverses, because then all of Max's rewinds to make herself look cool actually failed to make her look cool.
Well, some version of her. In fact, they made her look really stupid sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's always entertaining.
And Max is the worst, so...
Max... So I was reading a couple pieces of articles, journalism about Life is Strange, and it was actually Life is Strange Before the Storm. And someone was complaining about Life is Strange Before the Storm because Max was the more likable of the two characters from Life is Strange. I was like, maybe? That's a really...
maybe. I didn't like Max, though.
Max is really not my character. Chloe's not a great character for me either, but I think she's better written. But I think that is, again, I'm pulling some of my blog points out early, but part of the reason why Chloe is a better written character is that she's actually a character. And Max is designed to be a blank slate. You know very little about Max because the game designers want you to empathize with Max and to put yourself in her shoes, so she can't have any biases or preconceived notions that directly conflict with something that the player might feel or believe or have as an experience, because if she did, that would take us out of that immersion. And that Mary Sue aspect of her means that she's just boring and not a great character. Whereas Chloe, we don't have to do that, we just have to know that Max really likes her, so they can make her more interesting. Wow, I broke the chat.
We killed Chloe so many times. I mean, just so many times.
We're so bad at keeping
I mean,
her
depending
alive.
on how long it took you to figure out the train tracks, you could have stand by meet her like so many times.
So I was off to a really good start. I won a bunch of games, and now I've lost a bunch of games. It all went downhill as soon as that person came in. Live person comes in, and I start getting fancy, and the game is just bad. I lose so horribly.
Well, and also you have latent guilt from ruining that guy's day.
Yeah, I still feel bad about that. Ypod mentions that the internal monologue when making choices with Max was always so indecisive. Do I want the chicken or do I want the fish? Well, maybe I should go vegan today. That's much more appropriate for her. But no, the choices mattered in Life is Strange not because they mattered in terms of gameplay and game outcome, but because of the emotional impact they had on the player. And so there's still value in it, but those moments of comedy genius where the choice doesn't actually matter, none of them actually matter. But it's still good writing, it's still impactful, it's worth doing. You just gotta do it well.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm trying to think of games where choices make a big difference, I would go with Knights of the Old Republic. But because they affect whether you're a Jedi or a Sith. I mean, they do change the game. Because they change you.
Yeah. No, it's ultimately, it's like choosing factions. So if you play World of Warcraft, you can play either as a troll or an orc for the Horde, or you can play as an elf or a human for the Alliance. That changes your game, but it's because you're in a different starting area, you have a different backstory, you have different quests that you can go on. You're playing a completely different game. It's just they threw two games into one, or in World of Warcraft's case, like a dozen.
Well, I was gonna say Knights of the Old Republic is a really old game, so I'm trying to think about spoilers, but I think it's kind of niche. So
I would say
there's
go
not
ahead
a
and
lot of
spoil. I
cultural
have not played
osmosis
it.
about it.
I think you're fine spoiling even Knights of the Old Republic for me, as someone who has not played Knights of the Old Republic. Go ahead and tell me what you want to say.
So one thing you find out
the final word
is that you were, you were basically the Emperor, let's say, and the Jedis capture you and brainwash you and tell you that you're a Jedi and that you lost your memory. And so the game, you make choices throughout the game, whether you're going to do dark side, light side, whatever. And so how it affects it is, at the end, it's either, you were evil before, you're evil now, or, well, you totally changed.
Or so your true nature shows through, or the brainwashing was a success. So you're telling me that Knights of the Old Republic is Dark City.
I mean, if Dark City wasn't a piece of crap.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, yeah. Totally. That movie sucks so hard. It's like the worst movie ever made.
No.
Well, we can't be friends anymore, right? Well, my Tuesdays just got freed up.
Oh, man. So, next week, we'll do My Little Pony Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy IX, and why Dark City is the best movie ever. Except maybe Inception.
Oh my gosh.
Which you haven't seen.
You have the worst taste in movies.
Well, I was actually on the drive home in that terrible traffic in the rain on the Tuesday after Labor Day. I was thinking about, this stream and what we were going to talk about. One of the things I was thinking about was, something that we don't talk about is music. And that's largely because we have such different tastes in music.
Yeah.
Well, we have nothing we can talk about in music. We can talk about history, we can talk about movies, because we have enough shared in common that we can talk about those things, but music, we don't even have a shared vocabulary.
No.
Dark City with live commentary. No, I tell you what, I'm not going to do that, but if you buy a copy of Dark City, it has Roger Ebert's live commentary. I mean, he's dead now, so that's slightly inaccurate. But Roger Ebert
But he was live
loved
at
Dark
the
City.
time.
He was live at the time he recorded it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would love to just watch Dark City again. And if that's something that is entertaining, I will happily watch it and talk about why I think it's a great movie.
I don't know.
And
The
especially would be
copyright
amusing if you would
on
come watch it
that-
with me. Yeah, that would probably not be something that was doable, but I would do it if it was doable. And if I could make you watch it and tell me why you hated it as we went through, I think that'd be very entertaining for me.
I probably haven't seen it in like 20 years. I have seen it twice, so it's not
it's
like
it's
I
been out
didn't
for
give
less
it a
than
fair
20 years. It's
try.
close. It's close to 20 years. Came out in '98.
But you
I heard
only like it because
Mr.
your
Des talking
girlfriend
about
is in
Dwarf
there.
Fortress. Well,
Dwarf
yes,
Fortress,
I mean, that's
yeah.
not why. It's not the only reason why I like it, but I do definitely find the appeal in Jennifer Connelly very strongly. But the movie is great on its own. In fact, if you look at all the actors in the movie, you know, Rufus Sewell is great. Kiefer Sutherland's amazing, but the actor who actually steals the show is William Hurt. He's amazing. He's so good and so understated. But
Yep,
you don't
totally.
like it, so you, I don't know.
I don't know if I watched it now, I might hate it less, but I don't feel really inclined to do that.
No, I think that's probably not going to happen. We have plenty
I
more
did
games to get through
research
first.
My Little Ponies, and the person who originally did it took it all down, and somebody else found it and put it back up. So
Are we talking about the YouTube series or the ROM?
No,
the ROM
no,
hack?
the game, the ROM.
It's the ROM hack.
So I did find a place where
So we can
could
do our
still
own.
do it. We can do our
So
own
you
if we
have
want
it.
to, yeah.
You can get it, and we can do commentary on it.
Right.
So
we
that'd be
could do. Yeah, we'd have to just do it through the Windows 10
Mixer on your PC. Yeah.
mixer on my
That's fine. Yeah. So we may come to that, but I honestly don't know if because Final Fantasy VI is such a long game. It'd be hard to get to some of the best parts for that, but
Yeah.
keep that in the back pocket. In
If we
the
ever get really
meantime,
desperate.
next week we're going to be playing, if not Oxenfree, if we don't do that on a Saturday or a Sunday. We're thinking Saturday, right? Try and do this Saturday.
Well, Oxenfree
not this
comes
Saturday, but the
out-
following Saturday.
Right,
the
like we
5th,
could do it on the
16th.
16th.
What day of the week? 16th? Is that the Saturday?
The Saturday.
Okay, so
Or we could do it on the
try and do
19th,
that.
which is a Tuesday.
Right, and then so regardless, next week is Half Minute Hero for Tuesday, so we'll be back
Yes.
to that. And that's one where I want to see if we can grab someone else so that my being absorbed in the game for 30 seconds at a time means that my commentary isn't so missing. I can still say insightful and witty things once in a while, but we have something else to help me out with that. Just because I know I'm going to be distracted. So I'm going to see if we can get someone else in here to help out and take some of the burden off Des here.
Woo!
But I think that's enough spades. I did earn an achievement. I ruined some poor guy's night. We talked about a couple of things we want to talk about. And there's just never enough time to talk about why Final Fantasy IX is not the best Final Fantasy ever.
It's the best. Why it's the best. You're wrong. Always wrong.
I am so wrong. I'm so wrong that I love the things I love and don't love the things that you love.
It's true. Your worst character trait.
Alright, so we'll see you next time, guys.
Bye!